You want to know a disgusting secret about men? Today I'm going to break down 7 things that men brutally judge you on, and I'm going to be breaking down them so you never turn off a good man again, a guy that could lead to an amazing relationship, because all those other guys, we don't particularly care about them, because oftentimes we're spending money on our looks, we're spending money on our energy, we're spending money, investing in ourselves, not just to impress men. But we do want an amazing man to complement our life. So we cannot be actively turning them off if we do not know these secret things. And it's not your fault. Nobody really talks about this. So let's talk a little bit about 7 things that men secretly judge you on. And a lot of people are clueless about this. And these aren't obvious things. These are subtle details that can make or break his interest. All right, let's get into number 1 secret that guys secretly judge you on is how you talk about other women. And I can expand this to just say how you talk about other people in general. Men pay close attention to how you talk about other people, not because we care about the drama, but because it reveals oftentimes who you really are. And when you constantly gossip about friends, coworkers, other women, or other people in your life, here's what's going through his head. He said, she talks about them like this. What does she say about me when I'm not around? And I'm sure you've had that thought in the past where you're like, one of your friends is like super into being kind of a meanie pants. And you're just like, oh, I hope she doesn't talk about me like this when I'm not around. He's thinking the exact same thing, because an intelligent, mature man will lose interest when you frequently engage in negative gossip. And it's not just about gossip. It's about what it says about your character. Again, if you watch my other videos on magnetism, we want to have this positive aura about us. And when we're showing him that, like, we get, hey, baby, trust me, I like gossip as much. I like gossip. It's fun. But I try to maintain this positive aura so that I'm not engaging in it, because ultimately those conversations really do turn a guy off. Let's go into secret number 2 is social media. This is an interesting one because I am obviously a big social media person. So I don't care as much, but I know a lot of guys do. So the moment you meet a guy, he is going to be snooping on your social media. And I know some women in my comments are like, but he doesn't have social media. I'm like, he doesn't know how to use social media. If he doesn't have access to his own account, he has access to somebody else's. Especially if you block this guy, like he knows. This is one thing. It's like, oh, if you break up and you glow up, he's not going to see it. Oh, he's not going to see it? No, he is going to see it. So guys do research. They don't do nearly as much research as women do, but they do look at your photos. They'll look at who's liking it. They'll look at the comments. He's analyzing how much attention you look for from other guys. He wants to see if, like, if you have a bunch of thirst traps on your page, that's obviously very different than if you're like constantly in court as a lawyer. And he's looking at like kind of the attention that you get, because he's like, is this worth it? Oftentimes, and I know this is crazy because I am an influencer as well, is they show that people that post more online are like a bit more narcissistic, are a bit more fame seeking, and maybe aren't the most stable people. Not always the case. Obviously, like, I'm criticizing myself right now and all my friends that create content, but it has a negative reputation sometimes. And again, it's different if you're like a lawyer promoting your business versus if you're always in bikini pictures on boats, right? That's just a very different vibe. So he'll look through it. A lot of guys, they'll look through the story highlights and they'll be like, too many countries on there I don't like. Because yeah, guys be researching, and it is a turnoff. The yapper style videos that I do, that turns off a lot of people. I know that I've removed myself from the dating pool for certain people. I'm just letting you know. I don't make the rules. I just explain them to you. So let's get into number 3 is interesting one. Let's talk a little bit about physical features. So I'd say there are 3 things here. I like smile, and my friends like this. They like a smile. It's not to say if you have like a gap in your teeth. Trust me, I have crooked teeth down there. I don't know if you want to look at my teeth. I have crooked teeth on the bottom. Fortunately, you can't really see it. Your smile, the way you walk, and your scent is really important to a guy. A guy loves it when a woman smells like, which he just like really smells good. So I highly recommend investing in some good perfume, doing a little of the teeth whitening strips, and walking with confidence. Because confidence, a walk to me and many of my friends, is actually low-key so important, because it shows how much you have that confidence, you have that aura about you. But scent is very important, as is the smile. Because I've had friends say some really mean things about people's smile and scent. So I don't make the rules. I just explain them. Makeup. This is an interesting one, because guys, they're kind of dumb, right? Guys are kind of silly gooses. They'll be like, oh, like, I like her with no makeup on. You're like, I think most guys don't even know what women look like with no makeup on. Like, a lot of guys, what they learn is when they're younger to not ask like a woman if she's sick, because they're not used to seeing guys with makeup on. So they'll often say, oh, I like a more natural look. And that is true. They do like a more natural look, but they often underestimate the amount of makeup required to have like that beautiful natural look. So guys will say things like they don't like a ton of makeup, but they actually do. So the thing to take away from this is they like a more natural look versus the like super done up, crazy contours, like the fake eyelashes. They don't like that as much as they like a more natural look. I actually don't even know how to explain it a bit more than that, but they like a little bit of makeup, not a ton of makeup. And it's one of these weird things that guys are like very judgmental on, is the amount of makeup that a woman uses. And honestly, I hate hearing guys talk about it. I grew up with sisters. I coach a bunch of women, and the guys are kind of cruel on the makeup stuff. So honestly, the main takeaway from that section is just to watch a decent amount of TikTok makeup tutorials, because they really help. Not to plug, I actually don't have a creator specifically I like, but man, there are some really good people out there that go deep into makeup. It's not my area of expertise. Let's go into secret number 5. Get out of my depth on makeup. Is your friend group speaks volumes. Your friends speak volumes. All right, so you've heard it. If all this guy's friends are dirty dogs, like they're all sleeping around and completely cheating, then you're gonna assume he's a dirty dog. So oftentimes what guys do is they will look at your friend group and they'll be like, does she hang out with party girls or people that aren't on like into upward mobility? And he will make an inference of being like, okay, I see the veneers. I see what the character she's putting on, but her friends tell a completely different story. So if you are truly the outlier of your group, you're like the token of your group, you may actually want to just get new friends, because he will assume messy friends, probably messy herself. Toxic friends, probably toxic herself. So choose your inner circle wisely. This is just good life advice. Oftentimes we're the average of the 5 people to spend the most time with. Let's get into numero 6. Number 6 is how you talk about your family. And number 6 is how you talk about your family. Now, again, if you have a very rough family situation, it is okay to, of course, talk about that. It is more so the how you frame it. Everything can be framed in positive ways or in a way that's very understandable. But men notice the way you talk about your family. And so choose those words wisely, because he's thinking like, oh, this could potentially be the mother of my children, or this could be like the head of our household. And he wants to see whether you have, those family values and how you view your family. Trust me, if your family life was horrible, there's a way to frame it and be like, you know what? I didn't have the closest relationship with my family because of XYZ reason, but I'm super excited to have my own family and have my own pets. And this is kind of what I envision, right? And number 7 is men watch how you react to things. If things don't go your way, that's a major indicator of emotional maturity. How steady are you? Do you throw tantrums when plans are changed? Do you blame everyone else for your problems? Do things fall apart at the first sign of stress? Or do you handle setbacks gracefully, like we teach on the channel, problem solve instead of panic, and maintain your composure under pressure? There's going to be difficult times in a relationship, and we all have to work on our ability to ride those things out. And you should be evaluating him on those. If he can't deal with pressure, he's going to be a very tough partner. Because men think about commitment and they want to know whether you can handle life's complexities. If he's out of town on business, if he's doing something else, can you hold down the fort? Do you have your own fort to hold down? And your reactions to disappointments will tell him a lot of different things. And this is something you got to evaluate him on too. If his food gets ordered, is he freaking out at the staff? That's going to be a bad partner. And these insights, these aren't to say, oh, you got to start performing, be somebody you're not. I just wanted to let you know these 7 things that guys secretly do harshly judge you on. So here's your action plan. Audit some of your gossip habits. If you're a big gossiper, let's try to keep things a little bit more positive. Review your social media. Take down anything that's a little bit too revealing or you feel like would kind of disqualify you from the guy you want. Invest, obviously, in your makeup, in your look, in your aesthetic, because guys, they care a lot about how a woman looks. And I know, hey, it sounds yucky, but it is what it is. I just explain the rules. I don't make them. And heal your relationship with your family. If it's not a good relationship, hey, maybe there's nothing to heal, but it's the way in which you talk about it. And practice grace under pressure. Handle disappointment with maturity. I know you're going to nail all of these, and never give a guy an ick. This is not about performing. This is about living your best life. I love you. Ciao.